Hey everybody, still on a pretty good roll here, building off of that IG Live that I did with Allie, and then followed up by some fantastic presentations that she put together at the NSCA National Convention. She's just fantastic, and as that stuff relates to how she's trying to help people in terms of general population and fat loss and relevant fitness in the long run. It's a lot of the same concepts, maybe not as inclusive of how we'll look at things in terms of linking to the methods and the reasons we're going to use certain types of physical therapies. That being said, there's a particular piece that we go back to when we did the IG Live, and one of the things that I'm very adamant about, and I know she agrees, a lot of other people agree, but people still do it, is these 15-15, 30-30, even the nonsensical 20-10 types of intervals. Now, it's a little bit backhanded because and I don't make this, but that's why I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this clear. There's nothing wrong if you want someone to do something for 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. There is something very ridiculous if we are looking to do something for 30 seconds maximal effort, rest for 30 seconds, and then do several bouts of that. That is borderline impossible. I don't know what the activity would be where a human can deliver a 10 out of 10 performance for 30 seconds straight at all. Just one time. Of course, there's going to be certain times where that can happen when there's an incredible level of efficiency of the movement. So we're going to probably talk about runners, and we're probably going to talk about rotational athletes. But still, 30 seconds is a lot longer than 20 seconds, which we have seen in the 200 meters. So that's that. But to only rest 30 seconds, even if it was a reasonable amount of time. So let's go on for 10, off for 30. I think you might be able to get there at 10:30. I don't think you're going to get there with these maximal efforts for 30 seconds and then have to rest for another 30 seconds. Now, if you can space out your percentages to get to 30 seconds, you're going to rest 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I have talked about that over the last several weeks as I have tried to refine my concentric heart intervals, where I'm trying to get my heart rate as high as possible for 30 seconds on the air bike. I'm looking to measure even effort. I'm up to 31 miles per hour, but I have to rest 5 minutes. Now I'm going to start to determine, can I get to 32 miles an hour, or is it a better way for me to get better work by resting 4 minutes and 30 seconds? But I want to stick with this 30-30 business because that's actually what I did this morning. And when should you use these 30-30 intervals? Well, you're probably going to be in the same category of when you would want to train for, let's call it cardiac output. I'm using eccentric heart. Maybe it's too general population doesn't know what eccentric is. Eccentric is when a muscle is contracting and it's getting longer. Okay, so if the muscle is getting longer under tension, that is called eccentric. And when we talk about eccentric heart, we are primarily talking about the left ventricle, the last area of the heart where blood funnels through before it punches out. So if we can have a relatively low heart rate during the work intervals, then we can value the things that come from eccentric heart or training or cardiac output. And that piece of eccentric heart allows more blood into the left ventricle, so then when it does punch, more blood is sent throughout the body for every one heartbeat. Now, we had gotten into a lot of these things because remember, the original question was something different. You can't achieve eccentric heart values with a very high heart rate because it has to, the entire heart depolarizes too fast before the heart can fill up again. All right, so 30-30 is going to fall in a very, very similar net gain of why you're doing it as if you're on the elliptical for 90 minutes or you go for a run for the right people that have the orthopedic profile and the conditioning to do that for a very, very long period of time, 30 to 90 minutes plus. So we're going to go 30-30. We might choose activities where we want to go for 30 to 90 minutes, but there's no way you can do that straight through, given certain activities are also going to challenge the peripheral systems, such as mitochondria, and I went after that today on Jacob's Ladder. Now, for me, Jacob's Ladder is a it's up on an incline. Now, there's no external load to it. Nothing's holding you back. The machine's got its own pace to it. It seems on different types of those units, it is a little bit more challenging to go faster. I think there's different models of them that maybe allow you to go quicker, but I'm not sure you can get a sprint out of it. So you're going relatively slow and you're going against gravity. Your heart rate will probably never exceed those eccentric heart values, but you're gonna gas out if you are trained a particular way, and or your movement efficiency is not ideal. So you have to know these things before you decide those intervals. 30-30 made perfect sense for me. I probably should have gone 40-30 so that I could stay relatively between 80 and 100 feet per minute, because there is a pace that the machine reads back. So I don't want to let it go so low, because then I'm probably still working, and I'm not. Maybe today's a general population effort for me. Now let's look at what we are after here. Can my heart sustain a relatively low heart rate for longer than 30 or 40 seconds? I believe the answer is yes. I can't prove it because I didn't do it. But I knew my legs were getting very, very heavy, because now I'm retroverted, so it's very difficult for me to stay directly in the sagittal plane with my knee flexion, hip flexion action. My entire foot is not on a hard surface, so I'm probably going to be inclined to pronate my foot. My efficiency is not high. So I am going to take 30 seconds of rest before my mitochondria say, hey, we're done. And now I'm now gassed out from these peripheral cardiac systems rather than the central cardiac systems. So we're going to look at 15-15, 30-30, 60-30, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. Some of these positive work to rest ratios, or you might call them negative, depending how you look at it. You're going for longer work and shorter rest. You're probably going to pick some things that have a disparity in how you affect the central system versus how you affect the peripheral system. So there's some form of demand at the contractile piece over time. You're certainly strong enough to do it, you're powerful enough to do it, but you don't have the work capacity to do it. That was me on the Jacob's Ladder. So 30-30 isn't bad. Now, I can't really sprint on the Jacob's Ladder that I have access to. If there's another unit that you can sprint, then great. I'm pretty sure I would not be able to keep up 120 feet per minute for any longer than those other protocols. They probably should only last 10 or 12 seconds at the absolute max. So 30-30 isn't evil. 15-15 isn't evil. Of course, this is not how they are used in general population. Again, what's ridiculous is trying to go as hard as you can for 30 seconds and then only rest 30 seconds. This doesn't, there's no way that efficiency is anywhere in the country of that conversation. Efficiency is like on a different planet. If you are coaching individuals to go 30 seconds as hard as you can and then only giving them 30 seconds of rest. Let them go 30 seconds as hard as they can and give them 3 minutes of rest. Let them stretch. Maybe you might even want to work on some tension things. I don't know if Eldoa is a great thing to do since it's high tension. Do something in the 3 minutes. 30 seconds on, 3 minutes off. If you do want to go 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, let's stay in that 60 to 70% range, and let's choose things that probably are taxing peripheral mitochondria a lot more than cardiac output. That's where we're going to go with 30-30. Guys, this is the type of information that I'm putting on the third level of charlieweingroff.com. We're going to let the mentorship continue to build a list. There's a website already behind it. Everything's ready to rock. We've already talked about access to me on undetermined yet how often, in terms of how you want to use me, whether it's for rehab sessions, whether it's for training, whether it's for helping your business or giving you ideas on how to develop, etc., etc. All those things. We're going to have personal calls. We're going to have group calls. We're going to have a lot of things other people are doing, except you got me on your team. We've talked about that. We talked about having access to this now, I think, 13 hours of information related primarily to these types of energy system pieces. We did talk about on T equals R3, and now we're doing the whole thing. If we're going to call this T equals R4, call it. That ship has sailed. So some other things that are going to be involved in that mentorship. The only way I will do a private seminar, I'm going to do conferences, but the only way I'm going to do private seminars is for people that are in this. They'll be able to sell it. They'll be able to monetize it. Maybe another day, another time, I can discuss where I'm at. But I don't enjoy those types of seminars when they're just open to everybody, and I have to compete with a lot of things I don't like competing with, and people are coming to learn how to be bad physical therapists in 2 days. There's plenty of other seminars you can do that. So we're only going to be doing these seminars, or I just won't do the seminars, and we'll just try to share information here. So that's this is exciting. Again, I'm getting some requests, and I still don't know how many people, but it's not going to be a lot. So we're going to set it for however many months. So if there's more questions on the mentorship, ask, whether it's private message or put down below. I'll be happy to answer everything, and I'm excited to help people in those types of ways, because I don't know how to. I'm not good anymore at just throwing with my lacrosse stick a blanket message out there and expect it to work for everybody. I'd rather be able to tailor what anybody might think, how my mistakes in my career have put me in positions to hopefully help you not make the same mistakes. But the primary exclusive information is going to be things like this 30-30-15, a lot of this metabolic stuff, but certainly linking it back to why we choose the different therapies that we do, and the how do you link physiology and maybe the neurology of movement. So that's where we're at with all that. I hope that makes sense. And hey, keep an eye out, especially in the Mobile area, the Crichton section of Mobile, Alabama, because if anybody's seen the Leprechaun, say yeah.